while back, I did a tweet, and it was, I do these breaking news tweets. Breaking news, White House insiders leak that. And the tweet was leak that, and I'm going to paraphrase, when asked if there could possibly be any worse disaster than the NEOCON destruction of Ukraine, or the NEOCON, destruction of Ukraine, President Biden responded, wait till you see, if you think something, and I'm paraphrasing, if you think that's bad, wait till you see our plan for the destruction of Taiwan. So that was a sarcastic tweet, and it got retweeted in Taiwan by the opposition party. The next thing you know, I look at the paper, and my name is a household name all across Asia. The Taiwan ministry then went to the U.S. State Department and said, is this true? The foreign minister of China, I think it might have been Wang Yi at the time, demanded an answer. And it was like Garland Nixon, famous radio talk show host in Washington, D.C., said that he's got this insider information. And the U.S., the Chinese demanded an answer. It was an international incident. It was pretty funny if you really think about it. But it wasn't long after the U.S. blew up Nord Stream, and so it was an interesting time. And I mean, to tell you how big this thing was, I had looked online. I saw something that said this was 2 weeks later, that it had 140 million hits in one day. That was 2 weeks later. This thing went in. If you search Garland Nixon Taiwan, article after article after article after article, everywhere. They were discussing it all over Taiwan, all over China. This thing was gigantic, right? And it was just a sarcasm. But why was it big? Why did it hit so big? Because it hit home. May have been intentionally sarcastic for me, but in reality, after blowing the hell out of the Nord Stream pipeline, the people of Taiwan were like, perhaps we shouldn't trust these neocons. And when somebody mentioned they got a plan to blow you up, well, you know why it really upset them? Because they got a plan to blow them up. I might not have had a leak. I didn't have a leaker or privy to any inside information by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly not. I thought I was being sarcastic joke. But what I didn't realize was I was hitting a nerve. Let's look at why. More coming out now, and it's starting to blow up. So the question is, does the U.S. have a plan for the destruction of Taiwan? Notwithstanding that tweet, I'm going to put forth some evidence tonight and let you make your decision. All right. Look, YouTube's, man, I got 187 people. YouTube's probably shutting me down. They're probably like, ain't nobody watching this one. Oh, no, there are no recommendations going out for this one, my dear friends. So let's start here. We're going to start looking. This was, I think, was Taiwan's. Wow, I've never had this lower number. I really think that this one, man, they are really hard on that. I know they're freaked out by this one because this caused an international incident. I literally caused an international incident that hasn't gone away to this day. I just saw an article within the last week. Garland Nixon, Joe Biden's plan for the destruction of Taiwan. So it's still out there. We got really low numbers. I've never had any numbers this low on any video I've done any time of day. So I don't think they're sending out notifications. So it is what it is. We're the few of us who are here are going to watch this video. Let me look over on Rockfin. I bet your Rockfin's got the normal number. Wow, I don't have a lot of numbers. Maybe it's the time of day. Okay, let us look. And we're going to start with the first terrible, horrible mistake that the people made. It's not even showing up. Here we go. Let's start here. Terrible mistake, you guys, but it is what it is. Taiwan's TSMC to bring its most advanced chip manufacturing to Arizona. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, plans to bring its most advanced technology to Arizona. TSMC's plans come as tensions between Washington and Beijing are rising over chips. Okay, so Taiwan is going to move its chip factory to Arizona. Here's what I'm going to say, you guys. That ain't a wise move, okay? That is not a wise move, okay? You're like, this is what the U.S. is concerned about. It's concerned about your chips. That's the big deal. The U.S. wants the chips, doesn't want China to have them. and you're moving your chips to the United States. I'm going to throw this out there. Let's look at something else and see. Well, here's a reason. This is March 15th. Let's start here. Former Trump official, where is it? Former Trump official claims the U.S. would destroy TSMC plants were China to invade. They said they think TSMC would make China the OPEC of semiconductors, right? The idea that the U.S. would destroy Taiwan, blah, 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 to keep them out of China has invasion has resurfaced. In other words, it's come out again, right? Former security advisor Robert O'Brien told the Senate the U.S. and allies would destroy TSMC's manufacturing capacity if they failed to prevent China from invading. Letting China take control of the facilities would give it too much power, right? So what do we got? The U.S. number one, TSMC moves their advanced plants to Arizona. Number two, the U.S. says, we're kind of trying to entice China to invade Taiwan. And if they do, we'll blow up your plants. You brought that on yourself, Taiwan. They got what they need. You are now disposable. They can use you. Look what's happening in Ukraine. They're going to use you as bait. You are the cheese in the mousetrap. The mousetrap is Taiwan. The people and TSMC, etc., is the cheese. Your job is to get blown to hell. Perhaps the people in Taiwan have not been paying attention to current events. I'm just saying, if you figure out what's going on in Ukraine, maybe you should think that when the United States comes to the border of a superpower and starts pumping that country on the border of a superpower, or in your instance, you're part of China, starts pumping it full of weapons, they ain't doing it because they love you. They ain't doing it to save their democracy. They're not doing your democracy, which they're not doing it for any other reason than to try to tear that superpower down. They have said to everyone, here's the plan. We're going to weaken Russia. We're going to weaken China. We're going to destroy Russia. We're going to destroy China. That's our plan. We'll start by using Ukraine. There's even documents written. We will just fill you. You will make Ukraine a bad place for Russia, and we'll use it to go after Russia. Now, what happens to the people in Ukraine? I think we can see that. They get blown to smithereens. Now, do the people of Taiwan think that somehow those principles don't apply to them? They're literally saying we will blow your principal industry flat. And there's still people in Taiwan like, yes, sir, the United States is on our side. They're going to look out for us. They're here to help us. What do you think, the United States? And they're like, yeah, we'll blow you right to hell if we get the first chance we get. Yeah. And in Taiwanese people are like, hey, yeah. That's interesting response. Let's continue. We got more. So they do these war games, right? They're always doing war games. Not that they want war with China. No. They don't want war with China. Why? That would be too difficult. Let's look at this. War games shows potential conflict would have massive casualties. How's that feel, Taiwan? Now, I'm saying this. They don't need war games. You don't need war games. They're going to make you the battlefield between two nuclear superpowers. There is no scenario in which you're not turned to rubble. There's no scenario in which you're not turned to complete, total, and absolute rubble. But we will continue. Let's look down here. I highlighted something, but I don't see it anymore. Where is it? Oh, here we go. The results showing that under most, though not all scenarios, Taiwan can repel an invasion. Yeah, right. But listen to this. However, the cost will be very high to Taiwanese infrastructure and economy and to use U.S. forces in the Pacific. Virtually all of Taiwan's economy comes from China. No, the cost of their economy will not be high. They will have no economy afterwards if that happens. And the cost of their infrastructure will be high. No, that's one way to put it. Well, first of all, let me say this. The U.S. has said, we will blow up your infrastructure. They have also said in documents, they will have to blow up Taiwan's ports. They will have to blow off, have to blow their infrastructure, all of it. Why? So China couldn't get it. So these are the people that the people in Taiwan, the people who are Chinese people in Taiwan are like, yes, sirree, the NEOCONs in Washington, D.C., the ones that set Ukraine up for complete, total, and absolute destruction, they're on our side. Really? They're on your side. And what are they going to do? And they're saying, look, we're on your side, Taiwan. Really, what are you going to do if a war starts? We're going to blow up your infrastructure, your ports. We had to blow them up. Couldn't let China get them, you got anything you got good, we're going to flatten it because we wouldn't want China to have it. You know something? China doesn't have to invade Taiwan. All China has to do is call the U.S. Hey, Biden, yeah, we're planning on invading Taiwan. When? Tomorrow about 4. Okay, can you give us the morning because we want to flatten all the infrastructure first. We want to blow up TSMC before you guys get there. Airports, they got to go. Ports, they're done. So if I tell you what, I don't know, Biden be like, I don't know if we could blow all of that up by 4. Could you give us an extra 24 hours? We'll flatten the infrastructure, pretty much blow out all their industry. Of course, a lot of their people will be dying in all the fires and, explosions and things like that, glass all over the place. Most of the Taiwanese people, they're toast after that. But after that, I think we're going to have to protect them. If there's anybody left to protect. And there's people in Taiwan, apparently, that think this is a good idea. That thinks, hey, yeah, that's it. There we go. These are our protectors, our defenders. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine somebody like, all right, I'm your bodyguard. Really? And what are you here? I'm here to protect you in case somebody tries to hurt you. All righty. Great. What are you going to do if somebody tries to hurt me? Well, I'm going to start by stabbing you a couple times. I'm going to beat you over the head with a blunt object, probably put a couple bullets in you, cut your throat, and then pour gasoline all over you and top it all off with a match because I'm here to protect you. That's apparently the kind of protection that they're getting in Taiwan. The kind that ends with you dead and your infrastructure blown up. And that's not from the guys who they think are going to invade you. Can you imagine that? These are the people that are saying they're here to protect you by blowing up your infrastructure, wiping out your economy. I'm kind of thinking this. They might want to look at Ukraine and take a hint. Let's keep going. This ain't over. Let's look and see. Oh, the great protectors, the U.S., they're planning on great protection. The U.S. would sooner see TSMC fabs burn than let China have them. The U.S. would sooner see see TSMC fabs destroyed than fall into Chinese hands should Xi Jinping invade Taiwan, according to a former national security advisor. The United States and its allies are never going to let those factories fall into China's hands, right? Of course, doing so would have consequences for the world economy. Last year, U.S. national security estimated the loss of TMC at more than $1 trillion. In other words, we're going to wipe out the world's economy, but we're going to start by wiping out Taiwan. And the leader of Taiwan's like meeting with these people. You want to talk about, what do they call that? Stockholm syndrome, for God's sake. See, Taiwan is of tremendous strategic value. The country is home to TSMC, right? So there we go. They're saying over and over, man, look, how many times did somebody have to tell you? How many times does the neocons have to say to Taiwan, we would blow you to smithereens. We'll blow up your stuff. We're not going to let China get it. Now, first of all, that doesn't sound like they're defending you, does it? They say we're defending your independence and sovereignty, which you're not independent or sovereign according to the State Department. But when it comes down to it, do you see them saying, you see the neocons, yes, what are you going to do? We're going to defend the sovereignty and independence. No, we're going to blow them to hell. China's invading you? And you know what's interesting about this? Here's what we hear from China. We don't have any. China has said, hey, you know what? It could take 100 years for reunification, but we want peaceful reunification. These people are Chinese. They're our brothers. We don't want to go to war with our family. We don't want to attack them. Nah, we don't want any violence. So the United States is protecting you from people whose position is, we want peace. You are our brothers. We don't want war with you. That's the U.S. is protecting you from. And the U.S.'s position is, we will blow you flat to the ground.